4G. Seeing here, I turned off that 5G. I don't know if anyone else has that experience, but the 5G never works. So we are live. We're here in Goodwill. Pretty good sized store. I call this a medium sized store. What I like about this store and what I like about any thrift store that's good is it's busy and they're well staffed. So those are two things that make this a good store for me. So we've already kicked this off. We've got some things here. I'm going to flip around the camera for you. Happy Wednesday to everybody. If you're watching live on TikTok, good to see you. If you're watching this recording on YouTube, good to see you also. If you miss parts of this live or if you got to sign off really quick, you can always check out the recording. It'll go up on YouTube later on tonight. If you're watching on TikTok, let me know where you're joining from. What's the weather in your neck of the woods today? I always love to hear that. Let's flip this camera around. So we already got started. Picked up a couple things right off the bat. I picked up this LL Bean. I don't pick up the all LL Bean, but I think you already know why I picked up this one. Really unique. So there'll be a low supply of this. This is all items that I'll be buying to resell on eBay and Poshmark. But look at that pattern. Really cool holiday pattern. Long sleeves polo shirt, LL Bean. Good size extra large. So picked up that. That's our first pick. Next is this Wrangler. It's a modern Wrangler tag, 2XL tall, great size to look for here. Sounds like we're doing good with audio and video, so that's good. Sorry to all of you who joined the live and we had to reboot it. I had 5G up and going on accident. I always turn 5G off, but I had to reset my phone this morning because I was having issues, and it turned back on 5G for me. Now we're back on LTE. Seems like we're rolling along pretty good. We also picked up this Duluth shirt here. So all these items I'm buying to resell, they're going to go on eBay, Poshmark, Depop, Mercari, and Grailed. No, I do not have a job. Yes, this is my primary source of income. If you are watching this recording on YouTube, I'll get back to all of your comments on there. If you're watching on TikTok, I'm going to do my best to get back to everybody, but you know how it goes. So here we go. Got some more Wranglers. This is a women's Wrangler, size XL. I'm going to pick this one up. Should sell for about 20-ish bucks. Nice pattern and colors on that one. Gosh, another one right behind it. Probably the same person donated it. Wrangler. Modern-ish tag. Not super modern, but maybe 10-year-old tag. I pick these up if they have the Western pearl snaps. I don't pick them up if they just have like buttons, unless it's a really unique shirt. Hey, check this out. A Woolrich piece here too. The model is Trout Run on this one. Flannel piece on a modern-ish tag. Size XXL, good size here. That's right. That's right, good to see you. Nick, Global Vintage is in the house. Good to have you back. Celeste is in the house, right on. We'll probably go over and check out some hard goods in a bit, but my main game is clothing. So we're gonna spend some time going through all these men's clothing aisles. Probably more than 10,000 plus pieces of men's clothing. My favorite things to resell. Oh, look at this. This is just kind of like sticking out, like someone set it up for me. I don't pick up all Cabela's, and I'm not going to pick up this one. It looks like, is that a hole? What is that? No, that's just like that's just part of the design. So here's a nice like heavy flannel from Cabela's. Look at that pattern. Beautiful. All the buttons are here. So some of my favorite brands, as I was saying, are really outdoor brands. That's how I got started in this business. So as someone who does a lot of skiing, backpacking, rock climbing, hiking, I love the outdoor brands, and that's where I started. That's because that's where my knowledge was, is all that outdoor clothing that I've been wearing for years. So some of my favorite brands are Terex, Filson. Those are hard ones to find, but two of my favorites. I pick up a lot of Wrangler, but I don't pick them up with the buttons unless it's really unique. This one is pretty plain, so I don't pick those up. Pearl snaps I do. But I'm looking for hundreds of different brands here today. We'll see what we get. Never heard of this brand. It looks like an older tag. I'm sure it's nothing. Old flannel shirt. If you see a brand that I just passed by, or a tag or an item, let me know. Let me know, and I'll go back to it. I don't think that's anything there. I know some stuff, but I definitely don't know all of it. I'm at a Goodwill in Asheville, North Carolina. So all the shirts we're looking at will be $4.49 unless otherwise marked, but most of them will be a flat fee of $4.49. Check it out. Here's a famous place in Asheville, North Carolina, the Grove Park Inn. Have you heard of that? It's a big tourist destination. Picked up a Cabela's 3XL tall flannel. The beans, nice. So yeah, if you're live on TikTok, go ahead. Ask questions, share with me some of your favorite brands too, things that you like to buy and flip online. Always love hearing that. If sales are good, let me know. I'd love to hear about that. If they're bad, let me know too. I'd love to hear about that. Happy to answer questions, do my best to get back to everybody. And if you are watching this recording on YouTube, I'll get back to all your questions and comments, so drop those down below. Love to hear about your flip game and how things are going. Ralph Lauren. Sales are slow. Mine are too, Celeste, but for me, February has been my slowest month every year I've been in this business. Been doing this for 4 years. It's been my primary source of income for the last 2. We saw this LL Bean last week, I'm fairly certain, and I put it back for some reason. So I'm guessing probably stains, so I'm gonna trust my instincts on that one. Here's a vintage Tommy. These don't really have the value they used to. Really looking for very unique ones with really vintagey vibes. This one has the crest down low, which is vintage, but doesn't really have vintage vibes to it, so we're gonna pass on that one. You sound so much like K-Way. I don't know, I think we got different voices, but we're talking about the same stuff, right? So maybe that's it. But that's a compliment. K-Way is the truth. Pick up a lot of Polo Ralph Lauren, but I'm not gonna pick up this one. This one doesn't have the pony on the chest, and I find that these move really, really slow without the pony, unless it's like a unique pattern or something. It's just a plain blue, so we're gonna pass on that one. I do buy some Brooks Brothers. I'd love to find some big sizes, and like the plain white dress shirts do really well. I'll pick up occasionally if it's a big size and has like the Brooks Brothers logo on the chest. Those tend to sell a little bit faster, but Brooks Brothers overall as a brand can be really slow moving. Pick up a lot of their suits and blazers are kind of bread and butter for me for Brooks Brothers. I don't know that brand, but that doesn't really look like anything. Goodwill needs to sell mass-produced brands at flat 99 cents. Who's paying $4.99 for Sonoma? Exactly. And this Goodwill, I like this location because it's busy, it's well-staffed. There's people stocking all around me, which is great. But they don't run any sales at the Goodwills in this region, and that means a lot of this like undesirable inventory stays on these racks and just takes up space and doesn't pay rent. So if they were to do like a one color tag sale like once a week, that would clear out a lot of the older inventory and it'll allow new inventory to come in that's actually going to sell and command a better price. But they know how to run their own stores. I'm not going to tell them what to do. So I picked up one of these last week. It's also a size large, BMW Motorsport. Looks like this has a couple of stains on it. It's kind of a borderline piece as it is, and with those stains, that's going to be a borderline pass for me. Exactly, like the Salvation Army half off day is awesome. That used to be Wednesdays at the Salvation Armies I went to in Tampa, Florida, and that allowed them to get rid of some of this stuff that people weren't going to pay, $4 or $5 or $6 for, but they'd get it for $2 or $3. Tino was in the house. Tino, thank you for the gifts. I appreciate that. Here's a brand I pick up sometimes. I always encourage people, look beyond the brand. I don't just pick up everything from a good brand. There's things that I'm looking for. This one's kind of unique. I kind of like this like shoulder pad action on Royal Robins. Logos do help. I do think this has like a stain on it though. It's kind of hard to pick up. Yeah, it's a stain right there. So I'm not going to play with that one. I might pick that one up otherwise. Royal Robins is a borderline brand. I might pick up, I don't know, something like 40% of Royal Robins that I come across. I would pick up that one if the condition was better. Thank you for the gifts. Appreciate that. Unnecessary, but totally appreciated. Have an 8, or the last 2 weeks were 50% off. Yeah, I love that system. When I was in Denver, Colorado, when I first got my my flip game started, they had 2 tags that were on sale. One was 50% off and the other was 30, I think is how it went. So that allowed them to kind of move through some of that less desirable inventory and get some money out of it and move on. I pick these up sometimes. I don't pick up a lot of American Eagle, but sometimes I break the rules I love Western Pearl snaps. This shirt's in a little bit rough shape though, so it's borderline at best anyway, but with rough shape, it is a pass. I sold my BMW for a profit. There you go. There you go. I listed a BMW t-shirt that I found here last week. I listed that yesterday. Do you source every day? No. Usually 1 or 2 days a week. The rest of the time, most of the time as a reseller, you're not like out doing this sort of thing. You're back at the office and you're listing, you're taking photos, you're measuring items, you're packing and shipping stuff. And for me, I'm making content too, so editing videos, that sort of thing. I don't pick up a lot of Burton. This is an interesting piece. It's a modern Burton tag, little hoodie piece. This condition on this is suspect. It's kind of like stainy, not good. I don't pick up a lot of Burton. I also don't come across a lot of Burton. We're not really in a ski destination here. Burton is like a ski and snowboard, or really a snowboard brand, but not really a snowboard destination here in Asheville. We do have some skiing, it's just not great. Appreciate the new follows, welcome aboard. Most of my lives I do live back from the office in the mornings, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and I'm shipping out items and showing you the process, the nuts and bolts of the process, which is actually when the rubber hits the road, the sales, the packing, and we go over numbers, profits, how much I paid for items, all the fees associated with the different platforms. We talk about that sort of stuff. So if that's interesting to you, if you want to learn more about this business, why not give me a follow? And I do these live thrifts too. These are fun. It's fun to go to thrifting with your friends instead of alone, so appreciate you all tagging along. If you see things that are worth picking up, let me know. Here's another brand. I don't pick up all of it, but this is like kind of at the core of my reselling business is outdoor brands. This is how I got started. So this is a fishing hiking brand, mostly fishing. Ex Officio. I don't pick up all of these, but this is this is on brand for Ex Officio. It's a fishing shirt. The buttons to roll up the sleeves. It's a nylon and poly blend, size large, not bad. What store do you sell to most? Like eBay? eBay is my number one platform. It's been my number one platform for 19 out of the last 20 months. Poshmark beat it 1 month. Last summer I had one like really good Poshmark month. Usually Poshmark is number 2. Usually don't pick up Columbia. Kind of like that little hoodie piece though. Size large. PFG. What do you think about this PFG hoodie? Sorry, the hanger's coming off of it. Yeah, Ex Officio's got a borderline brand for sure. I do like the more fishing style ones like that. Gosh, anyway, that one hand trying to fix a hanger just does not work. I'll probably pick up that PFG. I usually don't pick those up, but we're going into that season right now where that kind of stuff's really gonna go. It's an older Abercrombie tag. I'm gonna pass on that. That was like a flannel. I'd pick it up. How's thrifting going? We're off to a good start. I'm pretty happy. What do we got? I think we got like 8 or so items already, and I've only been through a rack and 7/8. Almost done the second rack. Appreciate y'all chiming in, sharing your opinion about stuff. What is this brand? Anybody know anything about this? Eden. We got a little hood. I don't know anything about that brand. Anybody know this Eden Society? Is that something worth looking for? 90% sell-through rate on PFG hoodies. Yeah, I don't usually come across the hoodies, so that's interesting. Congrats on your finds. Thank you. Wow, that's very expensive. What's very expensive? Very expensive brand. Good times. One thing that's tough when you're doing a live and there's a live chat going on, when people say like that is expensive or that is nice or pick up that thing, it's really tough because just the way the chat comes in, I don't know which shirt is that, if that makes sense. So if you're trying to help, which I know everybody is, try to be like specific. Or like, go back, you missed that shirt. Like it's not the most helpful thing. Try to be specific. Here's an LL Bean. I don't pick up all LL Bean, but I've sold this, I feel like this exact same shirt before. So it's got a herringbone pattern. It's a long sleeve polo. I've literally sold the same shirt. I don't know if it was the same size. It's a men's large. This is probably, I don't know, this is probably a $20 piece. I'm gonna pay $4.49 for it. I think I'm gonna get it. I like picking up these vintage LL Beans. It's kind of a bread and butter part of my store. I'm sure I have return shoppers that are coming back in and getting more beans. Flip Tips is in the house. If y'all if you enjoy learning about this business, or if you're already in this business, give Flip Tips a follow. That's somebody that I learn a lot from. Click on Flip Tips' name, give him a follow. Much different business model than mine in terms of the types of inventory that he's seeking out. So for example, I watched a live with Flip Tips the other night, and he was shipping out a Bose system. Flip Tips, remind me, how much did that Bose system sell for? It was a big dollar Bose system. That's kind of his game, is the big flips. Unlike these little flips, a whole lot of little flips. He's like, not many big flips, but we both make money. Get the Eden, TJ? Okay, I'll go grab that one. I appreciate that. Thanks for the follow, Leah. Welcome aboard. How much are these shirts? $4.49 per shirt, unless otherwise marked. Most of these will be $4.49. So we'll go back. TJ, who I trust, says, get this. I sold a Kanawi suit thanks to you. Right on, Flip Tips. $9.50 for that Bose system last night. So if you want to learn from someone who's doing the big flips, those are always fan favorites. Go give Flip Tips a follow. Somebody who loves to help people and runs a really good business, really impressive business. Give him a follow. Kind of all over on the comps. All right, I'll give this one a go. Appreciate y'all helping me out. TJ, thank you. Snaptable, thank you. You passed up a Brooks Brothers. Yeah, I passed most Brooks Brothers. Looking for specific Brooks Brothers. Big sizes, plain white shirts. This time of year, I actually pick up the polos too, because those are going to start selling. I actually sold a Brooks Brothers polo in less than a week. Did I pick that up at this store? I don't think I picked it up at this store, but I just sold a Brooks Brothers polo. Shipped that out, I think, on Monday. The polos sales are starting, y'all. It's February 15th. I always say that the short sleeves and that sort of stuff starts picking up. I do pick up some of these Charles Tirret. I pick up some of these. I do pick them up when they have, sometimes when they have the French cut. There's just a lower supply of them on eBay and Poshmark, so those ones can actually sell. But this one's just not in the best condition, so I'm going to pass on it. I'd prefer it to be a bigger size too. That's about a size large. It's a borderline brand that I pass on most of the time. Here we go. That's a hit right there. Untuck it. Nice gingham check pattern on that. Again, that'll be $4.49. Not really sure why that tag is there. Nice feeling shirt. I was feeling what the materials are. It feels really nice. That's a nice Untuck It. Great brand to look for. You might want to screenshot that one there. If you're not familiar with that brand, go ahead and screenshot it. Save that one to your camera roll. Good brand to pick it up. I pick up probably, some brands I pick up like 50-50. That brand I pick up almost everything. Yeah, a lot of Untuck It fans. The prices of Untuck It have come down over the years, but as their distribution has increased. But Still a good flip brand. I bet you that shirt's be between, I would say it's probably going to sell around $25 plus shipping. So $30 all in for that Untuck It, maybe a few bucks more. So we'll be in here for a grand total of probably, last week we were here for an hour and a half. We picked up 20 items. I would say we'll probably be here for close to that amount of time. We're about 20 minutes-ish in right now. So get yourself a snack, get yourself a beverage, relax. And if you have to pop out, if you're watching live on TikTok, you've got to pop out. That's okay. You can watch this recording live, or you can watch the recording on YouTube later on. I pick up some Massimo, and I do like pearl snaps, but that's a size medium. I do like the colorway on that, though. That's a women's medium, by the way. How do I know that that's women's? See how the button opening is facing out in this case? Here's a men's shirt. See how the button opening is facing that way? It's a quick and easy way to tell if you're looking at a men's or a women's button-down shirt. Little trick there for you. So I pick up a lot of Wranglers, but I don't pick them up if they have buttons unless they're like really cool, vintage, unique pattern. So we're gonna pass on that one. It's not vintage and it's not very unique. How do you learn the styles and patterns? You got a video on it. I have a lot of videos on different styles, patterns, things I pick up. I have 2.5 years worth of content on TikTok, probably 1,000 videos at this point in the library. So a lot of this comes from experience. You can learn the brands from videos. You learn sort of the other stuff, the materials, the patterns. You learn those subtleties by doing. So I think there's a limit to learning this business by watching others. I think it's a great way to get going and a great way to continue to learn on a regular basis. But the best way to learn, get out there, get to a thrift store, start buying some of this stuff, some of the brands that you're learning from creators online, and then kind of go through your own experience and see what Good question. So we're getting through our third rack now. I want to say we're somewhere around a dozen pieces right now, which is good. I do pick up some of these Levi's with the pearl snaps. This one's flannel, but that's a size small. I think we came across that last week. We came across this last week too. How funny is that? Little Top Gun piece there. Where are you shopping today? This is a Goodwill in Asheville, North Carolina. The same store we were at last week. This doesn't have a brand tag. Sometimes you can figure out the brand just by looking at the buttons. But this brand tag, oh, it does have a brand tag. It's a Free People. What do y'all think? Who are my women's clothing gurus in here? I know Free People can sometimes be good. This has got some uniqueness going on to it. This will be $4.49. What do y'all think? It's kind of got this little fraying action, which I think is part of the style. I don't think that's worn. Looks like it's in pretty good condition. Little Free People. What do y'all think about that? Yep, get it. I'd wear it. I like it. Yes. All right. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are great. I hope everyone's having a good Wednesday. There's a million things you probably should be doing right now, so I appreciate you hanging out with me and procrastinating those silly things that you're supposed to be doing, especially if you're at your 9 to 5. Especially if your boss is a jerk. Boy, that's an eye-catching shirt right there, but it's not a good brand. That one caught my eye. How soon will you get back to the same thrift store? Well, that depends. This store hit pretty hard last week with 20 items, so, and when I was in here last week, I'm like, they're really busy, they're really well staffed. A lot of my local Goodwills are way understaffed right now, so when I see them having a bunch of workers walking around, I was like, I think I'm gonna come back next week. So it's been 6 days, and I'm already hauling today. How much of a markup do you do? As much as I possibly can, but typically my average profit per item after all shipping and fees ends up being $19. It'll be a little lower on the stuff I get today, unless I get a couple like really big hits. I would guess the stuff to today will probably average around like the $15-ish mark, 14, 15, based on what I got in the cart, and that's after all like shipping costs and fees and all that. What type of items do you personally make the most money on? For me, suits and blazers are right now like where my biggest profits come from. I shipped out 2 blazers today. I made $18 on one. I made 31 on the other, and they were both kind of bread and butter, just like Ralph Lauren and Brooks Brothers. But I'll sell some blazers in the $70, $80 range, suits up over $100. So that's kind of the biggest profit per item. Suits and blazers do take a little bit longer to list those, so for a dollar per hour standpoint, I need to be making more on those for it to make sense for my time. What are the best things to look for? Christy, it's a great question. For me, I would be looking, so I said I got started in this business by, because I'm into outdoor brands, because I'm a climber, skier, hiker, just an outdoorsy sort of person, if you will. So those are my favorite things to pick up. So that's what's great about this reselling business is you can be into vintage stereos, you can be into, Beanie Babies, women's fashion, shoes, and you can make money. There's money to be made in all this stuff. It's arbitrage, right? You're taking something from one market and selling it on another market for more money. It's classic arbitrage. It's business. So you can do it with just about anything. So to me, I'd answer that question by saying, like, what do you like? For me, I like doing the clothing, especially the outdoor clothing. Thanks, Flip Tips. Appreciate you. Glad you found some Canali, too. That's one of my favorite brands. What I like about these live thrifts is you can see one thing to learn that's important to learn if you're going to be a clothing reseller is what not to pick up. And you're just seeing so many items that I'm just not picking up. That's how you gain speed, is knowing what to pass on. I sell on eBay, Poshmark, Depop, Mercari, and Grailed. think I'm gonna pick this up. It's borderline. Even Banana Republic's new with tag. I mean, people go like goo goo gaga over new with tags, but even Banana Republic new with tags isn't awesome, but I can probably get 25 bucks on that. That's cool, little Winter Park hit on that. That brand isn't anything, but I like that hit. Size. I would actually wear this piece. I don't need any more stuff, but as you can imagine, I don't need more clothes. But I would wear that with a little Winter Park hit on there. Nice little quarter zip. Thanks for the follow, Nikki. Welcome aboard. I also do lives where it's a lot easier to ask questions in the mornings at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. And that's when I'm shipping out orders and talking about the dollars and cents and of everything. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with all the questions here. I do my best, but that's another live that if you give me a follow, you'll get notifications when I go live in the morning. It's a good way to kind of see the inner workings of this business. Sometimes I'll go live and take photos and do measurements and kind of show you like the nitty gritty. This is the fun part. Appreciate all those new follows coming in. Lexi, Tammy, Fire Wi-Fi, Christy Carlson. I'm probably saying some of your names wrong, but I appreciate you joining and being new followers. I've been putting out content for 2.5 years, so there's no shortage. If you want to learn about this stuff and you're really serious about it, you could probably spend, I don't know, hundreds of hours watching my video library. Can you tell us what brands you look for? There's so many. I'm not trying to dodge the question, Bracella. I might be saying that right or wrong. Not trying to dodge the question, but there's hundreds of them. I'm so bad at just like listing them off. And I always encourage people who are looking beyond the brands too. We're trying to learn, trying to pay attention to sizes, patterns, materials, and all that stuff too. That is from. I do try to get to everyone's comments. If I missed you, it's not rude to drop it again. Oh yeah, it's kind of a cool REI piece. I would wear this piece. It's not a ton of resale value with most of these REI pieces. It's stained and that's tattered. Never mind. It's an older Under Armour tag, small size. Oh, look at this. Nike SB. It's a men's medium. People go crazy for this SB stuff. The logo is really, see how it's like crackly? Oh, look at that. Little hit on the back too. I don't know. Do you think that's worth picking up? Do you end up finding stuff for yourself when looking? I know I do. Honestly, I've been doing this for over 4 years, so there's no shortage of stuff. I really don't need anything, so I'm kind of minimalist by nature, so I don't get too excited about clothes for myself. I like looking at them, and sometimes I'll wear stuff when it's listed if it's my size and I like it. And sometimes I'll wear stuff while it's listed. This shirt, for example, was a J. Crew shirt. I did buy this at a thrift store for me. I really like that kind of striped flannel look. So I paid $4 for this, but that was a couple of years ago. I really don't need more clothing, as one could imagine. Yesterday, love the Nike SB. You think that SB is good to go? This brand is borderline for me on the shirts. I like the XL. I like the pattern. Hard pass on the Nike skateboarding jersey. Most recent Nike SB hoodie comp. Look at, see what this is just kind of funny. I'm not picking on anybody with this, but it's me, David says the most recent Nike SB hoodie comp went for $49. I'm assuming that's an eBay sold comp, and Arkansas is saying hard pass. So the disparity of opinions on things. Yeah, I think that mountain khaki shirt will probably go for about $20 plus shipping, so it's borderline. I'll be paying $4.49 for it, like a $14 profit item. Maybe, yeah, probably more like $12 profit item. Yeah, the fabric is cool. I agree on that. Thanks for the follows, Mary, and it's me, April. Welcome aboard. Good to have you. Appreciate the new followers. Of course, I appreciate my OG followers too. You missed that Bonobo shirt. I did not miss that shirt. I passed it this week and I passed it last week too. The resale value on Bonobos is gone flat. I used to pick them up. I'll pick up the pants. The pants do still do well. I just don't do well with the shirts. They sit for a long time and then I have to sell them on a low offer. So I haven't had a good experience with Bonobos, so I just don't really pick them up anymore. There might be exceptions to that rule, but that one was not like a special exception. There's just nothing unique enough about it. But thanks for looking out for brands that I might pass. Bonobos is a brand I'd say to know. Sorry, this rack is so tight. So this rack is all short sleeves. So this is, consumers aren't really buying the short sleeves just yet because it's been winter. So these racks get really stuffed, and a lot of this is going to be stale inventory that's been sitting here for weeks and weeks and weeks, and they don't do any sales at this location. So they just don't get rid of this mediocre inventory. So sometimes people see stuffed racks and they're like, that's a good thing, but in this case, probably not so much. What we want to have happen is we want like 200 of these shirts to get bought this week so that we come back next week that they have fresh inventory here. So, you know, in some percentage of that inventory will be good inventory that I'll pick up. But the more it sits, it's not good. So things I look for in thrift stores, and you really have to go into them to know these things. You're looking for places that are busy, so a lot of foot traffic. There's a lot of foot traffic in here. It doesn't look, it's actually kind of thinned out a little bit, but I'm looking for places with a lot of foot traffic. I'm looking for people who work here. She works here. They have like 4 or 5 people running around actively stocking, so that's a good thing. The other thing is sales. I look for sales, not just because I want to buy stuff for cheaper, but the sales move inventory. Moving inventory is a good thing. Last week I sold 20. It was a slow week. This week I think I'm on pace to beat that. Fingers crossed. Quantity-wise, what items do you sell the most of? Probably Ralph Lauren, just because I find so much of it. Doesn't mean it's the best brands, but it's just everywhere. Shirt. Sometimes I'll go dark and I won't be talking, and that's just because you guys need a break. No, it's because usually somebody's like right next to me, or yeah, just try not to draw too much attention to myself. Not that there's anything wrong with what I'm doing, but I don't want to get into a 10-minute conversation with somebody right now reselling. I'd rather talk to y'all, so that's when I go dark. So to answer that question, I sell on eBay, Poshmark, Depop, and Mercari. Mercari this month, I have not sold one single item on Mercari yet this month. It has been really slow for me. Is that true with anybody else? Are you experiencing slow Mercari sales? Yeah, I mean, at Bin's prices, Ralph Lauren would be a great brand to buy. At these prices, I tend to be looking for more unique ones, or unique Ralph Lauren, bigger sizes, definitely the ponies. To be honest with you, I like Poshmark as a platform better. I think it's easier to list, easier to ship. I like their return policy better. It's better for sellers. They have better seller protections. It's so easy to ship, it's crazy. But I do more sales on Poshmark, or I do more sales on eBay. eBay's been my number 1 platform 19 out of the last 20 months. Posh has been number 2 19 out of the last 20 months. 1 month Poshmark beat eBay. Those are always my 1-2. Why skip LL Bean? Great question. I sold almost this exact same shirt. Yeah, same size too. Almost this exact same shirt. I sold on Monday for $20. It was in my inventory for 473 days. And so 2XL is a good size for LL Bean, but these polos just take a long time to sell, and they usually don't get a lot of money for them. So I don't pick up LL Bean polos anymore. Where did I leave off? Great question. I'm not sure why. I'm sure men really use Mercari. Might be right. The thing of it is, though, a lot of women are doing the shopping for their men, if that makes sense. What's your opinion on Grailed? It does about 5% of my sales. That's my opinion on it. It's a good platform. Nothing that stands out to me about it. Sometimes I'll get more money for certain items on Grailed. People will spend big money for kind of unique, rare items on there. But it's about 5% of my sales. So it is what it is. I don't like Posh either. I have a 50-hour-a-week job, and Posh requires too much interaction. A lot of people will use, if they get serious about Posh, they'll use Posh bots, and then you just don't have to do anything. So if you're having trouble like keeping up with the sharing and all that about Posh, and you don't like the social aspect, just get a bot. It'll take care of all that stuff for you. That's what I do. I don't have time for the social stuff. People thank me all the time. Here's another LL Bean, probably same size, 2XL polo. I'm not going to pick that up. That'll be in my inventory in a year and a half, and maybe it'll sell for $18 or something like that. I could probably sell it quick if I sold it for $12, but I don't want to buy something for $4.49 and sell it for $12, if that makes sense. You only do men's clothes, mostly men's clothing, about 90%. Maybe 2% of my business is women's clothes, and then I'm opportunistic in a whole bunch of other categories. Electronics, sporting goods, that kind of stuff. How much are you buying right now at the store you're at? I'm probably got 12 things in the cart right now, and then I'll review all those items like in detail for stains and stuff. I'll probably end up putting like 3 or 4 of them back. So my guess is right now I have about 9-ish buys in my cart right now. Appreciate everybody jumping in here. It's a lot more fun thrifting when you have your friends with you. I do this as an opportunity to help folks who are thinking about maybe they're gonna get started with a side hustle this year to catch up on bills, or maybe finally get ahead on bills. Or people who are already in this flip game and are looking for 2023 to be their best year of flipping ever. Hopefully they pick up some new brands, learn some new materials or sizes or patterns to look for. And I do it because it's fun. I enjoy talking to y'all, enjoy talking to other flippers, enjoy answering questions from those that are curious. So a couple things. I just passed on a Nike Golf. That's an older Nike Golf tag. I don't really pick those up anymore. Here's a Woolrich. I don't pick up all Woolrich. This is a Sears sucker, which gives me a little bit of a pause because it just makes it a little bit more unique. So therefore there's less supply of them listed, but that's a modern tag, size large. I'm going to pass on that. It's probably realistically like a $17 shirt. Here's a Southern Tide, good size, 2XL. Seller's name on eBay is the same as it is on here, or you can just click up on my name and you can go to my website and you can see all my stores just by clicking on that link. That's the easiest way to do it. I'm gonna pick this up, 2XL. This is a cotton elastane, so a little bit of stretch to it. That's what these typically are. I'll pick that up. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. So I noticed that one stain, and now I'm noticing another stain. So I always say that stains travel in packs. So if you find one with a stain, find a shirt with a stain at a thrift store, and you're like, I can probably get that out. You're probably gonna get it home, put it under your photo lights, and find 3 more stains that now you need to go and get 4 total stains out. And that's, that just becomes not really worth your time. Well, I should say not really worth my time. Everybody's time has a different value, I suppose. I'm just sharing my experience. There's different ways to do this business for sure. That Land's End was here last week, I remember. I'm sure a lot of the stuff was here last week. I have some t-shirts from this brand, the True Classics. Ralph Lauren, yeah, that brand has been big. I think it's one of the biggest brand in the world, or one of the biggest brands in the world. And it always has most of the time has really classic styles. Hey, Western Neb is in the house from Canada. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Always good to have you. What's the latest, Western Neb? What's the most time you spend at a thrift store? I'd say between 45 and an hour and a half is pretty typical. There are some bigger stores that I've been to in the past that I could spend a couple of 3 hours in because they just have so much inventory, and I can walk out with, you know, at times like 40, 50, 60, 70 items, but that's not the case at my local thrifts around here. I'm happy to get out of these with like between 12 and 20 items. 20 is great. I've run this business in 3 different areas. I started in Denver, moved to Tampa, and now I'm in Asheville. So every market has different opportunities and different challenges. What I liked about Tampa is there was a lot of bigger stores where I could really haul out and get 20 plus per stop, sometimes 30 or 40. Denver, there was a place I used to go to, Mile High Thrift. I would get 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 items at that place. Just crazy hauls. I'd be there for hours. Thanks for the follow, Jess. I do this in Denver. Ryan, in Denver, you ever been to that Mile High Thrift? The prices can be high, but they always have sales. They have so much inventory, it's crazy. You don't know who is buying them. They may be allergic to your detergent. Suppose that's true. Here we go, little hit. Southern Tide. One thing I call these Southern Vines because they're so similar to the Vineyard Vines brands. I just confuse the two of them all the time. They're like the same brand. One thing I always get nervous about new tag shirts is like flaws, like missing buttons. It's like, why did this new tag item end up at the thrift store? Is there a flaw to it? Is there a stain? But this looks pretty clean. Yeah, check out that Mile High Thrift. I think you'll like it. You probably saw my video, Ryan. I was in Denver actually just a couple weeks ago, and I went to the Goodwill on South Broadway. I like that store because it's really busy too, so they move through a lot of inventory. They're well staffed, it seems, in there too. That store is always busy. I like that store. Goodwill and Golden is my sweet spot. I used to hit the Goodwill and Golden like on my way back from Summit County. I'd be up there skiing for the weekend, stop by the Goodwill Golden. I had some big hits at that Goodwill and Golden. I like that spot. Although sometimes that was an inconsistent place, but sometimes I'd have some wild hits there. Some like really great outdoor brands. How's it going, Thrifty Duckies? I'm going well. I'm doing well, I should say. How are you doing? Best to let buyer wash? Yeah, I let the buyer wash unless it needs washing, like stains, odors, whatever. Otherwise, the buyer's gotta wash it. Like any responsible buyer should. Good, snowed in kind of. How much did you get out there? I knew Candor. Yeah, I'm in Asheville, so Candor is very close. I thought that was a Travis Matthew for a second, just the style of that. What brands do you look for? So many of them. Travis Matthew, there's one that I look for. So many, it's hard to list. Here's another one. I look for Southern Tide. That's a good one too. This is a nylon spandex blend on this one. T3. I actually have one of these listed in my store, New Tags right now. T3, Tide to Trail. Tide to Trail, that's what I call it. T3, TTT, Tide to Trail. Size large, in case you didn't pick up on that. Maybe you already know. 12 inches and still snowing. Y'all getting buried out there. That's awesome. That's a cool shirt. Look at that. It's not worth any money, but that's cool. Jumping over the trees on a snowboard.